I gotta give Kwesi his flowers, man, for several reasons. Obviously, the performance he put on in the first round last night was downright majestic. And I tell you what, after sleeping on it and waking up completely sober, I'm gonna stand by this. It doesn't matter. I don't care what the Vikings do the rest of this draft. This is already the greatest Vikings draft of all time. The performance he had last night. But even more than that, the aggression that he put on display right before our very eyes. We obviously saw them trade up one spot with the Jets to get their franchise quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, who's already a fan favorite. But even before that, trying to trade up with New England for pick number 3. That didn't work. But also a bombshell report came down in the middle of the first round last night that the Vikings placed calls with LA in attempts to trade for Justin Herbert. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah was hell-bent. We're not going to have a lull period of a season or two to figure out this quarterback situation. Kirk Cousins is gone. We're going to figure it out immediately. No stone left unturned. We're going to address the quarterback situation. Tried to trade for Justin Herbert. When I remember after Jim Harbaugh during the pre-draft process, so pro days, combines, whatever, Jim Harbaugh talked about J.J. McCarthy and basically said something along the lines of, McCarthy is the best quarterback in this draft class. He's going to be sensational at the next level. And that turned into, he clearly wants McCarthy on his team. They won a national championship together at Michigan. And what the Chargers have done so far, they're putting together a classic Jim Harbaugh-led team by allowing their wide receiver 2 to walk in free agency, by trading their wide receiver 1 to Chicago, while at the same time retaining the services of their 2 aging edge rushers. Strong defense, strong run game. What's the point of having an expensive quarterback should the Vikings trade for Justin Herbert? And I'm thinking, it's just the offseason. We have nothing to talk about. And if you've got quotas to meet, I guess this is a way to fill time. That turned out to be a real thing, at least in the mind of Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. He was aggressive as hell. And I didn't think he had that in him. Because if you remember, when he came on to the scene in 2022, all right, this is the new regime, and he's analytical and methodical and patient, and we're not going to rush things, and we're going to make just the right decisions at the right time. Slow and steady wins the race. And it's like, come on, dude, make your signature move. I didn't think he had it in him. And I saw this quote last night after the first round where he says, quote, obviously, I'm a spreadsheet calculator guy myself, but sometimes you've got to step out from there, take your Clark Kent glasses off, and just have a championship mindset and swing for a great player. That, to me, proves that Kwesi broke out of his shell last night. That was absolutely amazing to witness. Going into this offseason, there were question marks about him. I had questions about Kwesi, saying, hey, bro, when are you going to make your signature move? When are you going to make your mark on this franchise? Because up to this point, essentially, you've just been riding the coattails of Rick Spielman. You arrived in 2022, and Spielman's leftovers, elite players, Daniil Hunter, Brian O'Neill, Christian Darrisaw, Justin Jefferson, they fell into your lap upon your arrival. When are you going to make your mark? And I tell you what, man, after last night, he separated himself from Spielman. Rick Spielman could nail every position on a roster outside of interior offensive line and quarterback. The best we could do with him, Spielman, at quarterback was reach for Christian Ponder at pick 12 or settle for Teddy Bridgewater at pick 32, the end of the first round. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah just added a top 10 quarterback pick to his resume. Unheard of for this team anyway. And think about the progression of each draft that he has had. Clearly, there has been a learning process for him to where he said, all right, screw what I was doing before. It's clearly not working. I got to switch things up a bit. 2022, an absolute disaster. 2023, last year, it's okay. You added a bona fide wide receiver 2. Mekhi Blackmon could be solid. Undrafted free agent Ivan Pace Jr., inside linebacker. Okay, that's cool. And then you go from that to this, where, man, you have, with one GM in a span of 3 years, going in the right direction anyway, the worst draft class in this franchise's history and the best at the same time. Talk about progression. Kwesi, you did that. And I can't stress enough the fact that you were able to pull off 2 trade-ups in the first round while essentially giving up nothing. That's too much good favor going in the direction of the Vikings that I'm not used to as a Vikings fan. And I know that saying that the Vikings gave up nothing in those 2 trades rubbed some people the wrong way. And I woke up this morning, and one of the first things I saw on social media was several analytical content creators just posting their trade charts, talking about why the Vikings lost those trades last night, or really combined with the trade up from 42 to 23 with Houston, as well as the trade ups last night. One in particular, total value lost from the Vikings, 3 trade ups, is roughly equivalent to wasting an early first round pick on the analytics pick value charts. Well, Juliet Foxtrot Charlie, dude, who asked you? Nobody cares. I'm sorry. I just don't care anymore. I have to say this. I'm so sick and tired of these nerds that just have to butt their noses in every time a trade is made. Well, let me tell you, based on my calculations, how this trade works out for both teams in terms of value lost or value gained. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. I don't give a rat's ass about spreadsheets, graphs, charts, calculations, protractors. I don't give a damn about any of that when it comes to talking sports. But all right, let's entertain this one time. Going up from 42 to 23, the Vikings gave up 2 second-round picks, which resulted in a second first-round pick for the Vikings to use in this draft. I would say that's a win for the Vikings. Furthermore, the 2 trade-ups last night cost the Vikings a third-round pick, 2 fourths, and 2 fifths. So you mean to tell me the difference between getting your franchise quarterback and what may turn out to be the best defensive player in this draft class that you say, analytical nerds, that the Vikings lost, the difference between the Vikings being able to have that and not have that is a third-round pick, 2 Janarius Robinsons, and 2 Harrison Hands. Yeah, oh God, yeah, the Vikings, they really lost. Get out of here. Give me a break. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. Respect.